screaming and get going! Right! Muttley, you'll lose a medal for that!
PRISMA is a set of reporting standards that says the stuff that should be within systematic reviews. Now this applies to meta-analyses as well, but systematic reviews are a way to qualitatively summarize a literature base. The thing we're going to focus on tonight is they also recommend the production of something called a flow diagram. And so these flow diagrams, there's a picture of what we expect it to look like here on this page. There's also this group that is associated with this consortium of individuals who put together the PRISMA standards, and they created a Shiny app. And in addition to the Shiny app, they also created an R package. In order to use the package, they're recommending that you keep your systematic review information within a standard format, and that's what this template CSV file is supposed to do. And this is what it looks like. They have a couple of columns in here that they say you can mess with, and the rest of them they say don't mess around with. The main one that we're going to play with is the N column. So the N has information that's relevant for your search. How many studies are you including? How many reports are you including? Things like that. There are 33 rows in this template. I'm not going to recommend going into that CSV and changing the values within there. I think what might be better is to create a script and a script chunk that actually does all of the amendments that you want to do within the script chunk. Now again, this is consistent with our concept of plain text editing, so everything's specified within this one file. The package itself is called PRISMA2020. This is on CRAN, so you should be able to, from within your package tab, this is kind of how I've been doing it. If you just look for PRISMA2020, there it is. So now that we have that loaded, we should actually be able to use it. There's a PRISMA data function that changes it from this data frame, which our CSV is. And then I believe this turns it into a list. So yeah, so we're getting this list now, and this list is what is going to generate the diagram. The diagram itself, I believe the function is PRISMA flow diagram. We can go ahead and render this document. It looks to me like everything's specified okay, so we should be able to get a graph. And there it is. Previous and other. The default values of those are both true, and that's what's creating that left-hand gray and the right-hand gray. So it's going to be easier to read if we just turn those off. So let's go ahead and turn those off. So we'll do previous, false, and I'll just do one at a time so you can see what effect that has. That should clear out our left-hand box here. Nice. So it's a little easier to read now. We can also get rid of this other arm. I don't know that that's the expectation going into a PRISMA flow diagram, is that you're going to have both those other previous and other arms active. You can certainly put them in if you want. But there's a standard PRISMA flow diagram. What people are probably going to be most interested in are values. And so what I'm recommending to do, instead of going into the CSV and changing values within the CSV itself, we can do that within the code chunk as well. And so this is what I'm anticipating creating for next week for people, is a chunk that has all of the relevant fields identified within the code chunk itself and indicated by these comments. So if I want to change records identified from databases and registers, you can do that right here. You can specify that. So I can say I did 85 databases and 76 registers. Now if I rerun the entire script, it should reflect itself in my flow diagram. And so you can populate the entire flow diagram from within that same chunk specification. If you don't have any registers, NA will just get rid of that entire field, which is really slick. So that will change from databases and registers to, it'll just get rid of registers altogether. You can see the scripting here. The script, this is just an echo of the code, but it's maybe a little easier to see in the rendered document than it was in the QMD itself. I've made different sections for the three main vertical components of your PRISMA flow diagram. And then I tried to be as descriptive as possible in terms of being helpful for the information that you want to enter. So there's databases, registers, duplicates, and then there's some optional information. The package authors, they seem to be most interested in the interactive capabilities of these. They're hoping that people use these in an HTML type product. The way in which I thought we could probably work around that for typist and PDF documents is to save the image itself as a plot or as a figure or as an object. And you can save this visual as all kinds of different image types. Now, the reason I have a typist and a PDF is because I love SVG image types. There's an overcomable problem in trying to render a PDF using an SVG image type. So that's why I have typist separated from PDF. So with the PDF, traditional PDF, my recommendation is just to switch the file type itself from an SVG to a different one, and PNG is going to be fine for most people. So these tabs, kind of the way that these tabs are structured, this first one only works for HTML, the second one works for typist and HTML documents, and the third one works for HTML typist and PDF document. There's not actually all that much difference between them.